Hello, family. Happy New Year, and welcome to another episode of Oh to Behold with Camille Young in 2022, baby. We made it. We are here in our new year. Hello, Holy Rollers. Y'all hung in there with me all of 2021, and I hope you're ready for another ride in 2022. I got some great topics coming up for 2022. So I hope you guys are ready. I hope you're ready. Also, the book will be coming out really soon this month. It should be coming out this month and ready to be in your hands by the 1st of February, the first part of February. So guys, I mean to tell you, I am super duper excited. I hope you can see it in my expressions and hear it in my voice. Guys, I am just super excited about it. To my new viewers, welcome to Oh to Behold. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and then hit that little bell so every time I drop a new video, you'll be notified, okay? And it's every Thursday morning. So make sure you hit that notification bell, subscribe, like, share, and comment. Y'all know I respond to my comments, all of my comments. So make sure you put your comments down in that comment section, okay? Again, Happy New Year to each and every one of you. I hope you enjoyed the time with your friends and family and whatever you did to celebrate to bring in the new year. Happy New Year to you. You know, as we go into the new year, you know, there are some things that you should really be thinking about doing. The new year, coming into the new year, usually puts people on a pace to want to do some things differently, especially if there are some things that were not happening, that was not going well in the prior year. You know, you put yourself in you kind of clear the slate to start a better new year, okay? And I hope that even the things that I talked about on last week with setting goals and all of that, I hope you've put those things in place. But today I want to talk a little more specifically. You know, there are some things happening in the media that I want to directly but indirectly address because you really don't know what's going on in a person's relationship. So this is what I want to address with you. So today's topic, I want to talk about the 3 foundational reasons why relationships break up, okay? Why people break up in their relationships. And of course, I'm sure everybody's heard by now, Devon Franklin and Megan Good, they've announced that they're breaking up or that they're going to divorce, which is, I'm never happy to hear about people parting ways in their relationship, especially after 9 years of marriage and with their relationship being so public. And they've written a book, which is actually a really good book, The Wait. That's a really good book that you should read, especially in the dating process. So you're never happy to hear about people breaking up. But I just wanted to just hit on something. And I think Devon Franklin is a great guy. I think Megan Good is a great girl. I will say from the beginning, I never really saw them as a true match, okay? And it had nothing to do with, you know, one being better than the other. It had nothing to do with that. But the type of lifestyle that it appeared that Devon wanted to live versus the lifestyle that Megan, I don't know why I always want to call her Megan, that Megan Good was living and being in Hollywood in the manner in which she was, I just didn't see those lifestyles meshing well at all. And not to say that they didn't love each other. I truly believe that they loved each other and that they thought that they had found their eternal partner, you know, their lifelong spouse. But I felt, even in the beginning, that there would come a clash around the spiritual parts of the relationship. We know that Devon is a pastor, and he really, and again, you never know what's going on in a person's household. So it could have been all him, it could have been all her, I don't know. But I do, you know, based on the things that they've shared, a few interviews that I've watched, I feel like they genuinely loved each other. But his lifestyle and her lifestyle, I just felt like it would come to a place where they would get to an impasse that they could not, you know, were not able to achieve a resolution for, which is probably part of the reason why they are parting ways and divorcing, because they just some things in their lifestyles just never could come to a happy medium, I guess I would say. And again, there probably are other things that are not being mentioned or that we may not be aware of that was happening, but in the relationship. But I do believe that the spiritual part of their relationship, that's where I believe it really came to a head. And with him being a pastor, and her being in Hollywood and doing the type of movies that she does, and dressing the way that she dresses, which, she has the freedom to do that, but that's probably not what he would want. And he maybe thought that his life would cause her to change more, and it didn't. Again, I'm just these are my opinions. This is nothing that I know to be factual. These are just my opinions, and I could be wrong as two left shoes, but these are my opinions. But it led me to really want to talk about like three foundational. There are a multitude of reasons why relationships break up, but these are the three foundational reasons I believe that relationships break up, whether it's in a marital relationship or whether it's in a dating relationship. And these are the three things that I'll name. One, the lack of clarity on expectations before the marriage. I have a video where I talk about deal breakers. And I remember hearing Devon Franklin share on an interview that, there were some things on his list, his deal breaker list, that he ended up having to remove or not, give grace for, because in order for him to date Megan Good, he would have to not, that would not have to be a deal breaker anymore. And a couple things he named about her being a smoker, when they got together, she was a smoker, and then talking about her drinking, and he compromised that. All right. And I'm sure there were some things maybe that she compromised. She didn't mention anything in that particular interview or the portion that I heard, but, there are maybe some things on her deal breaker list that she compromised, but I know for sure that Devon compromised some things, because he said it himself. I go back to my original point, and you can go back and watch that video about deal breakers. If you compromise your deal breakers, they're not deal breakers. Okay? So by him compromising some of those things, and I'm sure those are just two things, but I'm sure there were other things on that deal breaker list that he ended up compromising. Well, maybe it'll get better. Maybe my influence on her will help her to change this or change that. And same with her. Maybe her influence on him, she felt like, would change him on some things and make him, adjust his thinking on some things. And early on, they were compromising, but it came to a head. It got to a place where they didn't want to compromise those things anymore, whatever they are. And again, I believe it's more on the spiritual thing, but they didn't want to compromise that anymore, because it to the core of who they were those deal breakers. Okay? The core of who they were based on those deal breakers, and they just couldn't move forward. And it doesn't lessen the love, but it makes you realize that you lose who you really are and your belief system and your core values when you have to compromise things that deep down on the inside that it's not going to work for you. So I go back to, you got to know your deal breakers and stick to them. Because if you compromise them, they're going to come back and hunt you later. All right? So that's one. The second one I would say is ineffective communication. People talking and not listening. I have a video talking about effective communication rules the nation. You've got to be effective in your communication. Talking but not listening, not being an active listener. You're not listening to your partner. Shutting down, not talking at all. That's never an option. And when I say shutting down, I'm talking about for extended periods of time. I'm not talking about, hey, I need a couple hours to cool off. Okay, or hey, can we talk about this again in the morning? But shutting down for days and weeks and even months at a time, people are doing that, and that is not the effective way to communicate. And so when you open the door for a breach in your relationship, when you are not intentional in your communication. You have got to be intentional when you are communicating with your partner, because if you do not, then that causes people to pick up their own narratives of how you may be feeling. You may not be feeling that way at all. But if you are not expressing or communicating or being intentional about your actions of why you didn't do that, why you didn't call back, or why you didn't text back, or why you didn't show up at a time that you said you were going to show up, or why you didn't do something that you said that you were going to do. If you are not intentional about your reasoning for not doing those things, or why you did do something that you weren't supposed to do, then that creates a person the opportunity to create a narrative in their head about what they believe happened based on maybe previous relationships or things that you may have done in the past. And that's how relationships and communication begins to break down, because you're not being intentional with how you are communicating with your partner, okay? You've got to be intentional with your communication. So ineffective communication would be number 2 of a foundational reason of why relationships break up. Then I would say 3 would be unmet expectations or needs. What do I mean by that? You're not speaking your partner's love language. You can say whatever you want. People have love languages, how they want to be loved, not how you want to love them. Okay? You have to speak in the language in which a person, what way that makes them feel loved. Okay? Whether it's physical touch, whether it's quality time, whether it's words of affirmation, whether it's acts of service, whether it's gifts, giving or receiving gifts. Those are the love languages that you have to learn about the person that you're wanting to marry. And again, all of these things you should be paying attention to in the dating process. Okay, once you get married, you've already sealed the deal. You've already crossed over that threshold. So now you're trying to backtrack and learn stuff that you could have known on the front end before you even entered into the relationship. So learn your partner's love language. Learn what makes them feel loved. And that's how you have to speak to them. Not using manipulation. No, you don't use love languages to manipulate a situation. You use that so that you can effectively communicate with that person, and so that you can learn and clarify what the expectations are, on the front end. All right, we can cut down on a lot of hurt and disappointment and divorces and all of that if we would do the work during the relationship. And it don't take no 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 20 years to do that. If you spend enough time with that person and you all are talking and you all are around other people and you do the proper type of counseling before you get married, you can know a lot. You will not know every single thing, no, but you will know the pivotal and the important things that you need to know in order to know if this person is somebody that you can be with, for the rest of your life. You can really say, for better or worse, rich or poor, sickness and health, till death do you part, when you can know the most important things, those pertinent things about a person. Okay, so again, those 3 foundational principles that break up relationships, all right, they are lack of clarity in your expectations before you get married, ineffective communication, and unmet expectations or needs. All right, those are the 3 foundational things. I'm not saying there aren't other things, but I'm saying the basis, those foundational principles of what you build a relationship on. I would say those are the 3 foundational things that will cause your relationship to break down and end up breaking up. And we don't want that. We want lifelong relationships. So make sure that in this new year, even if you're married now, that y'all, maybe if you need to go back and go back to the basics in your relationship. All right, for those of you who are in a dating relationship, if you haven't started talking about these things that I just named, you need to start having a conversation around them, okay? Because if you don't, your relationship will end up like Devon's and Megan Goods, It may be 9 years, it may be 9 months. Okay, I've known people to get married and divorced within a year's time. All right, and you don't want that. You don't want that, okay? All right, well, thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Oh to Behold. Again, remember to subscribe. Remember to like, share, and comment. If you want to reach out to me for life coaching support, still doing that. Reach out to me at ohtobehold@gmail.com. All right, and I look forward to talking to you even more on this year. Like I said, I have a lot of good topics coming up for this year, okay? All right, well, thank you for joining me, and until next time, God bless.